everyone. Today I'm going to talk about a rather touchy topic, but I haven't seen anyone make a video on this particular thing, and I think it's important to say. So yes, before we get into the video, I'd like to say that I don't usually entertain drama and get into drama. I've only made one such video because it's just none of my business. I think everyone is entitled to their own opinion. I think everyone is allowed to say whatever they want to say, and I'm not going to criticize someone even if I disagree with them, because everyone has their own worldview and that is totally okay. However, there is one thing I really dislike, and that is spreading misinformation. If it's a topic that I just have an opinion on, I'm not going to, bother with it because it's my opinion, and like I mentioned, everyone is entitled to their opinion. However, if it's a topic that I actually have some in-depth knowledge on, that could potentially be harmful, I like to give my input into it. So, I've made one such video before on the Rewired Soul, and how a real therapist should behave and how the way he's behaving is harmful, because I'm not a therapist, but I do have psychological knowledge due to my studies that gives me a knowledge on how a therapist could behave. If I wanted to, I could be a therapist. However, I decided in my route to go rather the scientific way than the therapist way. In this case, we have veganism. Sorry. I do have some knowledge on this topic because diet and its effect on our brain and everything is a topic of my MA, and the amount of articles and scientific research I've read on this topic makes my brain want to explode. So I feel like I know what I'm saying. I'm taking in a study, as in being one of the people who is conducting the study, not a participant. So I may not be the most knowledgeable person in the world, but I feel like I do have enough knowledge. So my problem is, and I will first say what my problem is, and then I'll give a disclaimer because I don't want everyone coming after me. So my problem is the vegan teacher, or rather not her, because I don't know her as a person, and I believe that I can't judge someone based on what they put on YouTube because I don't know them. Their YouTube persona is not them. My problem is with what she said. She says that everyone has to be a vegan because it's the only way to make the world a better place, and it's the only way for everyone to feel better and to feel good and to be happy, and basically it will make the world perfect. Now, two things before I go on. First of all, I want to say that I don't know this person very well. However, I do agree with her in some instances. I personally am a meat eater, but I agree we shouldn't be killing animals for other reasons than that. I don't own any piece of clothing that is made from animals. I don't like the idea of testing things on animals. My hair dye is vegan and everything, so I do agree with her that we shouldn't harm animals if it is not necessary. However, some people cannot be vegan, and that is what this video is going to be about. I'm not going to tell you veganism is bad, because that's not true. I'm not going to tell you you shouldn't be vegan and here are all the reasons you shouldn't be vegan, because that's also not true. What I'm going to tell you is scientific knowledge, and I will also link a few articles down below if you want to check me out, because I understand that everyone should do their own research and you shouldn't just blindly believe me because I say I have knowledge. I may be making all of this up, so I will link a few articles. If I forget, because I have a tendency of forgetting, then remind me in the comments and I will link them up for you. Some of the articles that I've read during my studies that I will be referencing in this video, I will put it down below. What I will be saying is why some people cannot be vegan. I won't be telling you veganism is wrong. I'll be telling you why some people can't be vegan. And now, the disclaimer is, I don't think veganism is bad. At the end of the day, everyone has a different body. Everyone reacts differently to a lot of things. And everyone's body behaves differently. Everyone needs a different diet. There are people who could go on a keto diet. There are sports people who even maybe should be on a keto diet. However, me, with my raging 60-year-old alcoholic cholesterol, cannot go on a keto diet because keto diet has a lot of fat, and that would hit my cholesterol through the roof, although it's already there, and it wouldn't be healthy for me. So what I want to state very clearly here, that everybody is different and every diet works different for everyone. So there will be people for whom a vegan diet is the best option of all. I mean, there are people who are literally allergic to everything that comes from animals. You can't tell them not to be vegan, you know. But there are also people for whom every diet, any diet, could be potentially very harmful. Same goes for veganism, because veganism is a diet like any other. I understand that veganism is different because veganism also has a lot of ideology behind it. So I understand that veganism is a little bit different in that aspect. However, it is still a diet like any other diet, which means that some people will feel great on it and even maybe should be on it. But then there are people who are not going to feel good on it. And what I want to tell you is the bad things that can happen to you when you are on a vegan diet. Now, I can't stress enough, this isn't a video saying only bad things will happen to you, because there's a lot of good things that will also happen to you if you are on a vegan diet. To be honest, during my research I came to the conclusion that one of the healthiest diets is a very balanced vegetarian diet. So cutting out meat, but eating fish and eating milk products, and maybe eggs from time to time. That is the healthiest diet from my own research. But I agree wholeheartedly, even though I am personally a meat eater, that eating meat isn't the healthiest thing for you, based on research. I am still a meat eater because, you know, research is one thing and what your body needs is another. It's like I said, everybody needs something else. So, I will be telling you the bad things that can happen to you when you're on a vegan diet. However, it doesn't mean there are no good things. There are good things that can come out of a vegan diet for you. But my point here is, the thing that I'm trying to say is that you cannot, and you should not, because this is extremely harmful, tell everyone that they have to go on a vegan diet, because that is not true. There are a lot of people who could suffer a lot on a vegan diet. And of course I could bring up the example of my mom, who's a vegetarian, has been for 10 years now I think, and the moment she wanted to go on a vegan diet, she went for a vegan diet for a month and she felt like shit the entire month. However, that is just my personal life and my personal opinion, and that shouldn't count as the actual research. So, you know, I'm not going to be bringing up things like that, I'm just going to be bringing up the research. Feel free to do your own, and like I mentioned, remember that there are good sides to being on a vegan diet. I'm just going to be mentioning the bad ones because there are people who cannot and should not go on a vegan diet. A lot of bad things can happen to you. For instance, I mentioned a few videos ago that I have tetany. If you don't have tetany, good for you. It's not the worst thing in the world, but let me tell you, it's a pain in the ass. Tetany is, I'm not going to go into all the details because it just doesn't matter in this video. I'm going to make a separate video, but essentially what happens is you get a lot of muscle spasms and you get a lot of muscle pain, which is absolutely terrible. In my case, it's my right arm, which for me personally is terrible because I'm right-handed, and I also do pole dancing, and it's hard to pole dance when one of your arms is barely functional the majority of the time. Tetany is something that happens for a lot of reasons, and one of them is lack of calcium. And lack of calcium is something that could happen on a vegan diet because of the food. There are some plant products in which you can get calcium. However, it is way easier to get hypercalcemia if you are on a vegan diet than it is when you're not on a vegan diet. I'm not saying this will definitely happen to you, I'm just saying there is a higher chance. So for instance, if you have tetany and it's extremely bad, maybe, you know, this just isn't the best option. Okay, this is something that I've heard. I haven't researched myself, but I've heard that one of the things that can happen because of tetany is extreme problems during a pregnancy for a woman, but that's just something I've heard from a fellow scientist, so don't, take it with a grain of salt. I haven't researched this, I'm not 100% sure. Not to mention that lack of calcium, of course, may cause bone problems, especially the older you get, you know, so that's not fun either. There are, of course, things that happen. There are some cancers that you are more likely to get when you are vegan. One of the researchers that I found mentioned that breast cancer is more probable when it comes to vegans. Now I want to stress that it's not that you will definitely get it, and it's not, oh, cancer in general is higher, because it's just that in vegans there are some cancers that you have a bigger chance of getting. So for instance, if you have hereditary breast cancer, something you can do generally if you have hereditary cancer, like genetic cancer, is lead a very healthy life. So not smoke, don't drink a whole lot, be healthy, as in eat healthy food, have an active lifestyle. Like, I'm not saying that you won't get cancer at all if you do those things, but it can lower the risks if you lead a healthy life. It generally lowers the risks for a lot of illnesses. However, if you have genetic cancer genetically in your family, or generally things like that, it's or you have cancer, sometimes you will not get enough nutrients from a vegan diet to help your body fight the illness the way it should. Because like I mentioned, some of the nutrients are calcium, some of the nutrients are N3 fatty acids. Those are very, very hard to come by on a vegan diet because they are mostly found in fish and milk products. Well, mostly fish and fish oils and things like that. So once again, when I say vegan, I haven't stressed, I mean only plants, no animal products. That's what I mean by vegan. And N3 fatty acids may not be as essential the older you get, but it's very essential, especially when you're a very small child. So for women who are pregnant, if you do not give your child enough N3 fatty acids like DHA and EPA, the child may have problems with developing a few things like the retina in your eyeball and the cerebral cortex. DHA is especially important because it helps develop membranes and photoreceptors. So basically N3 fatty acids are something that help us with our eyesight. And now the thing you might be maybe I'll say this at the very end. There's also higher chances of hyperthyroidism when you're on a vegan diet. However, I don't know how prevalent that is. The thing that is the most terrible and the most important is the lack of vitamin B12. Now, there are no food products, as far as I know, that can naturally give you, plant products, that can naturally actually give you enough vitamin B12. Of course, you can supplement it, but this is something that I cannot stress enough. Supplementing by taking pills does not give you the amount of things that you need. You shouldn't take a whole packet, but you have to remember that a vitamin, like the pill, it has a lot of different things next to the vitamins inside it. So what you're supplementing yourself with isn't only vitamin, and you're not getting enough of the supplements as you should be. And vegans generally have a very high very low amount of vitamin B12, and this is the most crucial thing, because vitamin B12, first of all, like I mentioned, cannot be gotten from plant products. Second of all, it is extremely important because of how we function. It decreases fatigue, which is very important. Another thing, and is very important, is that in your future, the older you get, lack of vitamin B12 can cause bone problems, it can cause you to have a stroke, it can even increase your chances of having dementia. So it is very problematic. It can also lead to poor digestion, and can also lead to poor cognition, which in any point in life isn't a good thing and isn't something that you want to have. So those are just a few things that aren't very good that could happen to you on a vegan diet. And now you have to remember that everybody is different. So everybody is going to, have the intake of those things from foods differently. However, you have to accept the fact that some bodies will not be able, for instance, to get vitamin B12 from plant food or from pills. In such a situation, it may be extremely problematic if you don't have a large enough amount of B12 in your body. That is to say, those are just the bad things. There are good things that can come from veganism as well. My point in this isn't trying to say you shouldn't be vegan. My point in this is saying that everyone should be vegan and how it will definitely improve your life. It's just harmful. Will it improve the life of animals? Yes, of course. But we have to be stable. We have to think about the animals, and we have to think about humans. Should you really throw your health away just for an animal? I take calcium in pills. I take the biggest amount that I can, and it still doesn't help my tetany. So if I cut out all the food products that I eat that have calcium, the pills wouldn't help me at all, and it would just get worse. So I'm not saying you shouldn't be vegan. I'm just saying you should take certain things into consideration, and if you have a chance of any of those things being a problem for you, for instance getting tetany or hypocalcemia, or a severe lack of vitamin B12, if those things could potentially be something that you could have, maybe you should rethink and not be fully vegan, but for instance, not eat meat and not even eat fish, but at least drink milk from time to time. Like cut out a lot of things, but still have some products in there. You have to think about your health and potentially your child's health, future child's health, if you're a woman that wants to have a child. So it's like I said, it's not that you shouldn't be vegan, it's just that maybe if you could have one of these problems because it's hereditary or you're already having them, you should really think and do your research whether veganism is the best option for you. If it is, go for it. Good for you. However, it's like I said, veganism isn't the best option for everyone, and so we should be really careful and not spread information like you will definitely feel better in a situation where something could potentially very much impair you and your brain. We don't want that now. So I hope I didn't, come off as mean or rude or anything. I hope I didn't hurt anyone's feelings. Yeah, I'm just saying that, as with every diet, with veganism also comes some flaws. It's like just every diet. Omnivores, keto, paleo, Mediterranean, intermittent fasting, every diet has some flaws. These are the flaws of veganism that you should probably watch out for. So, I hope you enjoyed this video, I hope you learned something new. Tell me about your experience. Maybe you have experience with veganism, maybe something good from veganism came out for you. I want to know, because I'm not biased. I'll gladly hear both sides actually. And I hope to see you next time. Next week is a nice cozy vlog, so we'll have some nice time together. So I'll see you next time. I love you guys. Bye. Mwah.